Hello Sagittarius, welcome to your April 2019 Lenormand Spread. I'm Jade with yesYesYES. How you doing, Sag? Welcome back, and if you are brand new here, welcome. What I'm going to do is a Grand Tableau spread with the Gilded Reverie Lenormand deck. And I'm going to read it actually differently because it's very difficult to read through such a general population, and this reading can be really in depth. So I'm going to just highlight some of the really important issues, which would be in health, wealth, in your work, and then in love. So we'll go over the generals. Okay, everything's been pre-shuffled here. And if you're interested in the cards or any more information about this spread, feel free to check out my website in the box below. I'd also love to hear your comments, so if you're resonating, let me know in the comments section. The thumbs up helps the channel out so much. I really appreciate that. And subscribe as always so that you can always know when the readings are coming out. I do lots of different readings throughout the month. So for Sag in April, where does this story begin? Okay, there we go. And I'm going to lay out the cards, and then we'll go from there. So I'm not going to show you, but if you know this spread, then you might recognize the cards. But I'll talk about them as I'm talking, as we're going. Let me make sure that everything's laid out-ish. It's always the challenge of getting it straight. Okay. I'm also going to read it differently because I've got some confusion between the masculine and the feminine. So I'm going to read both, and then you can apply what works and what doesn't. But I'm going to read both as if, you know, you have the aspects of both inside of you, which you do. Because I think I want to make sure that it's clear, but I also really love this reading, so it's important to make sure it resonates for as many as possible. All right, so first let me just check to see if there are any cards in their own houses. So just give me a moment to count. Okay, so the woman is in her own house, and what that means is that there's an underlying flavor to this reading, which is about sisterhood or reproduction, something that is about femininity and just the role of the biological feminine, the gender of the woman, which means the nature of bringing something into the world with the body. So that's why we're talking about reproduction. Now, sisterhood is also an aspect of it, which is you know, we can look at it as a brotherhood too. So we're talking about that connection that you have with someone that is, you know, it feels long-term. It feels like you were born, you know, you've gone through the same things in life. You understand each other because of these experiences. So it's a deep connection to another person where, you know, it's kind of like you hold hands with each other through life. And I've seen that in brothers as well as in sisters. It's the longest relationship that you have. That's what they say. It's the longest relationship that you have in life. So if you do actually have siblings, there might be some information that comes up for you in this, but that's just an underlying flavor of this reading. So what does that mean? It means that you might be asked or called upon this month to create something totally new, reproduction, right? You might be fostering some kind of new thing into the world, or you may be called to drop into your ability to be a sister or a brother to someone, okay? So just keep those ideas in mind. We'll see if they relate. I do want to talk about what's going on for you in general. What's happening is that there seems to be a connection to perhaps there's a travel, some kind of travel that's been going on, maybe a solo journey. You might be traveling for work, and it might be something that you don't want to do. It's not totally enjoyable for you, but it's just something that you had to do. I'm not sure if it's not necessarily a new role. I think it's a job that kind of changed for you, and it might feel a little bit weighted. It might be something that has not quite been exactly what you wanted it to be. So you're feeling, you might be going up in your head a little bit about it, or maybe you're just worried because you're doing so much traveling, other things are kind of going to unravel. Your finance card is in the past, so it seems like money has been fine. Like you've kind of settled that down in the past. Your structure, your stability is also feeling fine. So those things are kind of settled. I think right now the movement, maybe the job itself, maybe the fact that you're having to work for yourself, or you have a authoritative role even, I feel like that might be something that's kind of throwing you off. There might be people around you who are jealous that you have this authoritative role, so there might be talk, people underhandedly kind of, talking about you. And it might just be one person who's talking about you who might want your job. So they may be trying to just take you down a few notches. So just be aware that also happens sometimes. And I don't feel like, it doesn't have to be malicious. It could just be that that person is not in their highest self. That is something that will change. I just feel like that's coming up for you. What else is going on is that you're in a place of feeling and sensing things a little bit more. I like this place for you, actually. So you might be, while this is, things that are going on around you don't feel comfortable, I think what you're doing is you're dropping into your intuitive nature. You're dropping within your sensuality. And the reason why I say that is we've got, the flower cards around the feminine here. And we were talking about this ability to reproduce and being in that feminine nature. I feel like you are looking for and accepting any kind of help that's coming in, any support from your community, save for whoever that person was who once at your job, but really enjoying, maybe feeling a lot of gratitude for where you are, where all you have come from. I feel like you want to remove yourself and move away from any kind of anxiety, any kind of worry about money specifically, and even this job, even that job might have gotten you rattled. I feel like the time that you would rather be spending is in luxury. It's you want to buy yourself a new outfit that feels really good. You want to buy yourself a watch that looks really good. So I feel like that's what you're really surrounding yourself with to feel good, is the luxurious items. There's some beauty that you're just wanting to, even flowers themselves, even plants, things that just remind you of growth, remind you of contentment. You're surrounding yourself with that, which is a beautiful thing. And that, I think, is the best way to heal or to keep yourself on task or on point from anything that's trying to pull you off, okay? So that's really beautiful. There's actually two distinct sides of you this month, and I like that you are handling things where you have to at work, and you're also healing yourself, surrounding yourself with the beauty so that you can feel good while you're handling things. Excellent job, Sag. Okay, what else is going on? Let's look at health. Your health card is actually surrounded by some nice cards. You have some luck underneath it. And you might have had some burdens in the past, or you might be wondering if anything, maybe it was that you had a curable thing in the past. What am I thinking? Like HPV. Okay, nobody likes that, but whatever. That's something that clears itself, okay? Or if you had the flu, which, that's even more generic. If you had the flu or mono, something that went a little bit heavier, you might have this worry that it might come back. So when you have similar symptoms, you kind of go to that extreme. Just know that right now you are so blessed. There's no issue that's showing up in the cards from what I'm seeing. What I am seeing, however, in the future is that you do need to get into a health routine, and it needs to be something that may not feel good initially, which what does, right? When you start working out, you're going to be sore. It's not something that a lot of people like to do. That's not true. It's not something that some people like to do, right? Maybe it's not you, Sag, maybe you don't like doing the workouts, but it's going to be something that's really good for your health, and the cards are urging you to do that. It might even be that you are starting to urge yourself to do it. You're seeing that that's a necessity. You're starting to realize that you feel good after working out. So it may not be that, workouts are gonna be not good or not gonna be enjoyable. It might be that you're actually finding enjoyment in this working out. But what I'm seeing is that that's what's coming up for you is a health routine, a workout routine that's going to be good for your body. You're gonna make a nice commitment to it, and it's going to start bringing some stability to your body, so that perhaps if you've had any issues with joint pain or things that just come from not having a strong body, you start to dump into your joints instead of using your muscles. So the more that you're strengthening your muscles, the stronger and more efficient your body's going to work. How's that? I have a lot of body training, so that's where I went on that tangent. But I see that. It's beautiful. Great job, Sag. I really hope it's that you're enjoying that workout, okay? So let's learn to enjoy the workout. Okay, now let's find that heart card. Can you see it? It's kind of there in the middle. That's our love. Hold on, before I talk about that, let me just touch finances real quick. Sorry guys, I wanted to do that and save love for the last, because we always love to hear and end with the love. Finances, specifically finances, are related to perhaps this, if you're in corporate, it's definitely related to your corporate job. It may feel that this new move, this new journey, perhaps it's just you've took on a new role at work, that's where that anxiety is. But there's something about, this finances in the past seem to be solid, even though they were slow going, but they are directly connected to you being kind of in an authoritative role, or in this inventive role. So if you work for yourself, keep pushing yourself in that role, despite any naysayers, despite anybody trying to pull at you or take away from you, because that's what your money is definitely connected to all of this. What I'm feeling is that there's just one solid job for you, Sag, and it has recently changed, or you've been put into a new role where you're dependent upon being inventive, working on your own, or leading a team, something along those lines, okay? So that's directly where your finances are, but they look pretty solid. There's, again, some underlying nervousness, but I think that's more about the role that you're in versus the finances and the change of finances. Your finances look great. Again, congratulations, Sag. Now let's go to the love, because that's where we want to go. So what's coming up from love here? Recently there was a change, is what it's showing me, that there was an ending to a relationship or a transforming of a relationship. It could have come quickly, in fact, and it could have been because there was another person involved, and or that there was some deceit on the other by one person or the other. Now, what is also here is that there is the connection to being sensual. Like we talked about that. You only want to surround yourself with things that feel good. And there's a flip-flop between you feeling good and trying to make a relationship work in the way that you think it should, okay? Or the way that the other person thinks it should. So what we're talking about are two different things. We're talking about head stuff, mental stuff, and we're talking about heart stuff, feeling things. So there's this back and forth, not necessarily struggle, but balance that's being worked out in your heart currently. So that could be because we're talking about a relationship that has changed or recently ended, and that what's happening is now you're in a place where you need to kind of redefine what love is for you, what you need in a relationship, what is important to you in relationship. There might be a child involved, or there could be the relationship itself could become new again. So there's, the possibility of it having ended or the possibility of it having transformed is what I'm seeing here. There could be a child, or it could just be a new relationship, the way that it's working out. And what else I'll say is that there will be some challenges in the future, and it's going to be specifically about the commitments that you make in relationship. So if you are, I'm gonna take it back to this balance between the heart and the head, because you have stability and intuition coming up for you in terms of what makes a commitment for you. Okay, you really need to feel stability. You really need to feel that this is a rock solid relationship, and that you're going to grow and change together, because I know that you grow and change. It takes time for Sag to change, because you're open, you feel like you're open, but I think a lot of times if you really looked, you might not be as open as you really think you are. And I say that with love. I love Sagittarius, as I have a lot in my life. So it's examining how open you are to balancing the stability that you need with the intuitive and receptive and heart-opening space that you also want to nurture. Okay, so do you see there's a balance there between the head stuff and the heart stuff? Okay, and I feel like that's where you're at right now, is you're really deciding what that is for you in relationship. If it's, whether it's in a certain relationship currently or in relationships in general, what you're going to need. Further on, you're just going to have to be willing to look at that maybe a few times coming up in this month of April, because it's difficult. Well, what happens is when we make a big change in life, then the universe shows it to us. It gives us the opportunity or challenge, whichever way you want to look at it, to choose if that's really what we wanted. And that's the thing, is that it's going to keep popping up, and it gives you more and more opportunities to say, nope, I need stability, and I also need to feel good. I need to be surrounded by love. That's simple, right? And then it'll pop up again, and you'll have to decide, yep, I do need stability, and I also want to be surrounded by beautiful, loving feelings. So you just get clearer and clearer as those situations continue to pop up. And that's what I'm seeing. It will be a challenge in the future. And what I'm hoping for is that if this is a current relationship that's transforming, I'm hoping that that relationship continues to transform. But I do see some challenges for it in the future, specifically looking at it in terms of settling it down. You may want it to be a engagement, but it may not be quite there yet. Okay, you might still be working out the balancing issue. If you are already married and this is a relationship that's changing and kind of transforming, you may actually have to take new vows and look at it that way, right? Like whenever you change, that's the whole idea, is that we need to take new vows. We need to transform the relationship with us. And if this is an old relationship that has transformed or ended, and you're not in a relationship right now, and you're talking, you're deciding for me to be in relationship with anyone, you know, that's the challenge. Those are the things that are going to keep popping up is, you know, Mr. or Miss Right is going to pop up, but be very close and not quite exactly what you want. And that's your opportunity to say, nope, I need stability and I want to be surrounded by love. Those are two things I keep hearkening back to because I'm trying to keep it clear between the head and the heart. So that's quite a lot of information. I'm doing my best to kind of keep it together, but you know, finances are looking great this month, Sag. Right now, it's there might just be a little bit of nervousness and anxiety that you have with the role that you're taking on in work. Whatever, you know, there might be a new project that you've taken on. You're maybe jumping into new waters that feel a little uncomfortable. There is or potentially someone around you who might be nitpicking and pulling down on your energy a bit, so just keep that in mind. And what is serving you best while you're physically taking care of everything, you know, you're knocking stuff off of your plate and off of your list, but what's serving you really well is that you're only surrounding yourself with beautiful things, luxurious things. You want to feel really good, so you're just surrounding yourself with all of the beauty that you can find, which is amazing. You're taking care of you. Health-wise, we're going to start a new health routine is what it's looking like, and it might be, you know, doing a gym membership, but something that's going to make you get more embodied, and that's going to start feeling really good for you. And then for our love, we have either the ending of a relationship from the past and you really redefining what relationship is for you and what you need, what your decision making will be based on how you feel, and if you feel stable, if you feel supported, if you know, whatever your mind versus your heart needs, you're balancing those two things. If this is a relationship that is transforming, and it could be because there's some new, potentially long-term transformations coming, there's still going to be little challenges that pop up along the way further on down the road, just to keep you on track, just to make sure you're on the right path that you've chosen, right? That you and your partner have chosen. So Sag, that's what I have for you this month. If you are interested in doing your own personal reading, what I'm doing for the Lenormand spreads is I redo the same spread, I lay it out, I'll go through all of this in a little bit more detail, and then I will do a new spread for you in the reading as well. So you'll get two readings in one, just because I don't want to do this reading for such a general audience, just to keep it streamlined. Let me know how you're feeling about all this. If you're still here with the comments section, I'd love to hear it, and hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out so much. So for now, Sag, I'm going to wish you all the best. We'll see you soon.